It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Dart Talk carries the Internet Broadcast Rating TVD, a broadcast that is specifically designed to be viewed or heard by the darting community, and therefore may be incomprehensible to other lesser mammals. Darter discretion advised.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
What is today? July something?
Hump Day!
July 10th, which
It's
it is
Hump Day!
July
July
10th.
10th, I've got two friends that have the same birthday, and I've yet to wish either one of them a happy birthday yet, so
What a guy.
doing well with that.
Welcome, everybody around the world listening on the audio podcast. Welcome to Dart Talk. Steve Poncielman with Mystery Mark and Chat Room Girl, brought to you by The Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks to Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. And you can say hi now.
Hi-ho.
Very good good composure there. I
Thank
like
you.
that.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that was good. The Hump Day thing's going to get old, but it's still funny now.
It's only been 2 weeks, yeah.
It's only been 2 weeks.
3-4 more shows from now, we might be like, all right.
Ugh.
Should've
Anyway,
never told me that.
how was your weekend?
Wasn't bad. Nothing too exciting.
A lot of golf, 4th of July,
Yeah.
fireworks, barbecues.
Oh, yeah,
Ball
that was this
games.
last weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that actually was during the week, though, Thursday. But, yeah, no, it was fine. A little golf, a little
Little golf.
fireworks, a little cookout. It was fun.
I did almost nothing. I did almost no show prep, although I did edit the interview that we'll be running. We've got, Andrew Hare, Dave Hopkins, and Gaz Ainsworth, who are the founders and the guys that are running Webcam Darts. 3 of the 4 horsemen.
Correct.
That we interviewed last week. So we'll get to that. You've got your picks for the PDC match play, I see, all ready to go.
I don't really have the picks yet. I just
Oh,
finally,
you just-
I finally have the bracket in front of me. So
Okay, so we'll go through that if we have time.
Right.
I want to talk.
You didn't see any fireworks?
No.
Oh.
I've seen them before.
Yeah.
I mean, they have them like twice a week. You could just go on the roof of our building and watch them
Eventually
Navy Pier
you'll see 'em.
twice a week. So,
Right.
I mean, it's not like any big
It's
deal.
just another day.
Well, plus, I don't even know what day the fireworks are now. And then, the holiday being on a Thursday was sort of lame.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just kind of just a long weekend. But I did watch Wimbledon.
I did too.
And, I was happy, congrats to Andy Murray.
Unfortunately,
and-
I had to watch it, but I already knew who won because I played golf, but I recorded it.
Okay.
But there was no not finding out.
I was happy that Andy Murray won, except I'm wondering if he's Scottish. Does that count?
I was wondering the same thing.
Because, like Gary Anderson is a Scot,
Mhm.
and I didn't hear a lot of, like, does it not matter in tennis like it matters in darts or
apparently
something?
not.
Because they had like a, like in his hometown, I think it was Dublin, Scotland, they
So-
had,
yeah.
people in the rec center watching, and I'm
Mhm.
like, well, if he's Scottish, why aren't they saying he's Scottish?
I actually was wondering the same thing because I had no idea he was Scottish until they announced that.
So that
That
was
day.
confusing. If anybody in the
But-
chat room can
Right.
tell me if that's a meaningless distinction or not. But the thing that was really fun to watch was Djokovic and Del Petro.
That was a good one.
That
Oh, yeah.
guy is a beast.
Mhm.
I've never seen guys hit tennis balls so hard. And I don't know what happened to serve and volley. It's like
It's gone by the wayside.
I mean, it was like watching Chris Evert and Margaret Court
Mm-hmm.
or something. I mean, they're just like, baseline rallies, 20, 20
Yeah.
shots. And I'm like,
but actually, the guy that Murray beat to get into the finals hit the ball harder than any of those guys.
Did he really?
He's a 22-year-old. He's the first Polish guy to ever make it that far.
Yeah, he
in a
was like a
Grand Slam.
22 seed or something.
And his serve at 140 miles an hour, and his second serve was 120.
Was he coming into the net on every
No.
serve?
No.
Well, see, what
But he
happened to
should be.
serve and
Yeah.
volley?
It's gone.
That was the thing I used to like about watching Wimbledon.
Mhm.
You know, you serve and then you get to the tee and then you come in, you know, and you hit volleys and drop shots and all this stuff. And these guys are just banging
Yeah.
the ball. So I don't know. I'm watching this. I'm watching Del Petro and
Djokovic. Right.
and I'm like thinking, I don't think this is any more compelling than watching Phil Taylor play Raymond van Barneveld. I really don't. I don't see
Well, I
how
can't
it's
really
more compelling.
comment on that
Everybody's
because I've
sitting
never
there
watched those two play.
quietly,
Yeah.
and all you hear is like this boom and like,
In a grunt.
and a grunt. Who wants to listen to 3 hours of grunting? 4.5 hours. I watched the whole match. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from. Well, okay, so there was that. So I watched that, and then they had a documentary on the U.S. women's soccer team
Okay.
that they made, I don't know, 8 years ago, back when
Really?
all the core girls all retired, I guess.
Mhm.
They had one farewell game where Mia Hamm had a Garcia Parra jersey on, and I think they played it in Boston or something, somewhere in Massachusetts. So all the main girls had quit on
Right.
the team that won it in '99.
Mm-hmm.
But what struck me, and the only reason that I'm saying this, because I know this is a dart show, is they started talking and they had clips of the Women's Cup from like 8 years before that. So it was like 1991, where it was literally no one there, no one watching. Women that were on the team, I think Mia Hamm was 15. And this
Right.
guy's running around recruiting people for a national team. Nobody knew there was a national team. We got a ding.
have a
What
ding.
do we got? We got an answer
My
to
chat
the
room just
Scottish
wanted to
thing?
No, my chat room just wanted to hear the bell.
Oh,
And
nice.
they're ready for Dart Talk.
And they're ready for Dart Talk. Well, here's why I'm bringing this up.
We're getting there.
There's a
in
reason.
Steve's so eloquently
No,
quick way of doing it.
I do take the
Dart
long way around the barn
Talk.
sometimes, but there's a reason for this.
Yes.
Okay. So the Women's World Cup was basically in the stands, family and friends.
Mhm.
You had women that didn't even know we had a national team.
Not just women.
Right.
You had
Well, I mean,
everybody.
yeah. Well, okay. Within 8 years, they're playing in front of 100,000 people.
Mhm.
Okay. How did you get from point A to point B? Right? You literally have a soccer team with no money, and you have players that don't
Well,
even know
first of
there's
all,
a
you got
national
good.
team. Well, that's definitely part of it.
Mhm.
Part of it is the skill. But you've got all these people saying you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. Like darts can never be big. Darts can never be on
Right.
TV. And my attitude is, why not? What you have is leadership that doesn't think that they can do it or thinks that it's not really worth whatever effort it takes. And I don't buy into that at all. I think you could definitely raise, and we'll get to this later in the show, but that was kind of why
Yes.
I was thinking about it.
There's other things out there that have succeeded. Why can darts not do the same?
Because people aren't trying to do it and they're not
Mhm.
going about it in the right way. So we will kind of set them straight and tell them the error of their ways. But I want to get to the webcam darts. Now, we've both played it.
Yes.
The new iteration is fabulous.
Mhm.
The playability is way, way better than it ever was. So we sat down on Skype with Gaz Ainsworth, who's the owner of Webcam Darts, and Dave Hopkins and Andrew Hare, who are running the online leagues.
Right.
And we sat down to kind of get the lowdown on these guys. So let's run this, and you'll have to. Some of the audio, because we're using Skype, is not like totally first quality, but I did listen to it, and it should be readable or hearable,
Readable.
audible.
Audible.
Should be audible.
No,
It'd be
they
readable if
wanna
we
hear
publish
more
a
tennis.
transcript. Yeah,
Readable.
you want to hear more tennis. I used to play tennis. I'll tell
Dart.
darts and tennis have a lot in common. They really do. But that aside, let's just play this interview before I get in trouble with the chat room. Where is it? Where's the interview? Where's Webcam Guys Part 1? Okay. So this is Gaz Ainsworth, Andrew Hare, and Dave Hopkins and us. And we're going to turn the camera off, but you guys can listen to this, and we'll be back as soon as it's over. It's about 14 and a half minutes long. All right, joining us on Dart Talk tonight, we have the founders and the head bozos on the bus. The creators, and the management team for Webcam Darts are kind enough to join us via Skype or Google Hangout, whatever it is.
Google Hangout.
But we have Andrew Hare, we have Gaz Ainsworth, and we have Dave Hopkins with us. How you guys doing tonight?
Hi guys, how are you doing, mate?
Very well, thanks.
Yeah, good talk.
It's got to be past midnight for you lads over there?
20 past 12.
I've just got in from local darts, mate.
Oh, they're taking one for the team.
Yeah.
All right, we like that.
Absolutely, cut my night short to be here.
Well, we can. I'm not quite sure who to talk to first. So, as I understand it, Gaz, you're the owner of Webcam Darts. Is that true?
That's correct, mate. Yeah.
And how did you come up with the concept of putting together a way for people around the world to just easily join up for a game of darts?
It just seemed like a natural progression, really, of what was already available. At the time, there was darts forums doing webcam darts as a sideline, with the forum being, primary, and the webcam darts on the side, just using Skype and software called Dart Pro. And it just seemed to me that the next step would be let's make a site where the primary aspect is the actual playing, and the secondary is the forum.
So, Gaz, were you one of the guys behind the original online dart forums that people started talking about? The BDO and the PDC and all the dart play in Europe. Were you one of those guys?
No, not at all. I was never kind of a forum member as such. I mean, I was introduced to Russ's Dart Pro software by a friend, and through that, I was invited to join a forum. But up until then, I didn't really bother with just forums.
And we're talking now with Andrew Hare. Andrew, how did you get connected with Gaz and kind of join up in this new effort?
I think a lot of us started with just the Dart Pro software, just as a basic program on our computers. For scoring at home and recording stats and stuff like that. And for me, it was only when I went to, I think I got a new computer or something like that, it was only when I went to reinstall Dart Pro that I came across Dart Pro League, which Gaz was then running, which was, as he said, an active forum where the members were using Skype and the software Dart Pro to play, to connect online and play.
Now, Dave Hopkins is with us as well. Dave, I understand. Oh.
Gaz has just fallen off his chair.
We've lost Gaz. Gaz is down. Gaz is down.
Man down.
Oh, dear. Come back.
Get that man a beer.
This is why we don't want to do this live, guys.
Oh, are you kidding me? You're not going to edit that out.
Good thing it's not noon.
Dear me.
Oh.
Hey, it's almost tomorrow here.
Right. So we've got Dave Hopkins is also a member of the team who I believe handles most of the technical stuff. Now, I assume, Dave, that what you've got going now is vastly superior to the old system of...
Well, no, not the technical side. I used to look after the technical side of the Dart Pro because I was quite good at opening ports, but the technical side of the new site, in terms of the lobby software and what we use to play now, is by one of our other members that's not here, Tim. My job is I'm basically look after all of the league setup and sort of help oversee the tournament section. Software stuff is not really my field on this, unfortunately.
Mr. Tim Hawks is the fourth horseman.
Yeah.
Who's not with us tonight.
Tim Hawks, the fourth horseman. Okay.
He's the developer. Yeah, he's developed the whole WDA aspect that's all launched in January.
Okay. Well, let's talk about these online leagues for a second, because I find it fascinating, and I see more and more people participating in them in different ways, especially on the electronic games. Now, as far as webcam darts goes, how many seasons have you guys played so far?
technically, as WDA started, this is we're in the actual first official season.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what the format is now. What have you guys ultimately decided on?
Well, having looked at, obviously, well, I've been running the league since season 6, so I've been monitoring various different patterns and why people give up and get halfway through a season and chuck it in. We've got both Prems now at a best of 19, so because they kind of smash through, the 80-plussers get through legs and sets just legs really, quicker than most others. So I've got them at best of 19, and then the rest of the leagues are all best of 15, I think. Best of 15, best of 17? I don't know. I think it's best of 15. So I don't play with
best of 15, isn't it? It's first to 8.
First to 8, yeah. So, and they all seem to get through. It's about every member now, because I always used to claim that it would take at least an hour, not much more. But, I mean, having played in the Prem myself last year, I mean, we were playing, we got through 15 legs in about 42 minutes, 43 minutes. Now, if you're saying to everybody else, you've got to give up an hour, everyone's got to be able to give up an hour, rather than just be for the guys that, aren't at the top end, if you like. So, I think now I've got a fair balance where everybody's sort of committing the same amount of time each week, I think.
Basically, you have to play one game a week for the leagues.
One game
you
a
have
week.
to arrange and play one game, which is like an hour every week. So
Yeah.
you arrange it the week before and play it the week after.
Yeah, it seems to me to play 15 legs in 42 minutes, I think that's a little much for the Americans. I don't know that too many of them can play. Yeah, I don't think that many can play that quick. Although
It depends whether you got done at 8-0 or not.
Well, yeah.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah, I'd be done in a half hour.
To do 8 legs in 42 minutes, that shouldn't be a problem at all. To do 15, I don't know.
If I played you, we'd be done with 8 legs in like 15 minutes.
It works around an hour. It's around an hour, whichever.
It's around an hour, but I mean, like I said, it depends on who you're playing and how you're playing. If you're both playing off these socks, I mean, you're getting through a leg of darts in 18 to 21 darts. So
that's still better than going out to the bar and spending 4 hours and playing 3 games.
Yeah. We all like to go out once a week, maybe, and play in the Super Leagues or the leagues that we play in and take it seriously like we do. But
yeah,
if just recreationally, we all enjoy the game. If, say, after this interview I fancied having a game, all I have to do is flick the computer on and there's a game there for me. And that's the beauty of it. When it all boils down to it, all leagues aside and everything, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to any time of day or night, there's always a game there when you fancy it. In your living room.
It's a huge convenience factor.
Well, look at this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Since January the 6th, 16,862 games have been played.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Since January the 6th, when the software was officially released, we've had 16,862 games played.
Correct.
All right, well, I played one.
You would be both.
No, I am not. I'm not kidding when I tell you I was absolutely blown away by how well the system works now, compared to the way DPL was a year and a half ago.
How'd you guys figure out that you could make it better, and who recruited who to do what?
Well, if anything, it started out with me and Gaz really as such. I mean, Gaz always had the main idea, and then we had several drunken conversations of what would be nice to have our own software, and I spoke to Andy a lot. Andy managed the equalizer section. I drafted him in to help me set up the league side of things, and then a chance conversation with Tim. Turned out that he was a software developer. Spoke to Gaz. Gaz was like, "Yeah, give him a shot," and then it just snowballed. It went ridiculous.
I think it had to go, didn't it? I don't think it was a case of we wanted it to go. I think it was a case of
it had to.
It had to change.
Since day one of DPL, of Dark Pro League, I mean, since the very first day, I always knew in the back of my mind that for it to really go to the level it should do, that your own software would have to be the way. You couldn't rely on Skype, and it's the amount of hassle that it was. You know, it was always in the back of mine and Dave's mind that we spoke about that. You know, it had to go this way. And we had a failed development before this one, which wasted quite a lot of time.
Well, what they wasted, Tim did it in half the time they wasted. He actually did probably a quarter of the time they wasted.
The development got started, wasted about 5 months to be told that it wasn't going to happen.
And Tim started in November last year.
Wow.
And it was up by January?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what? No, I mean,
well, with a few teething problems, but not many, considering.
Tim started more, say, sort of September, October time, but it was a lot of beta testing between myself and Tim, and myself and Andy. We were sort of running through little bits of, oh yes, this has got to do this, that's got to do that, blah 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 blah. We got a pretty rounded version that me, Gaz, and Andy. I think we tested it for about a month, didn't we, before we said...
Yeah, about
that. And then day one it released, and it was all exciting, and it was all brilliant, and then all of a sudden, you know, the brick wall appeared. You know, this wouldn't load, that wouldn't do this, that wouldn't do that.
One or two grey areas, but they haven't lasted long, and they were resolved fairly quickly, were they?
Yeah,
I think a fairly smooth launch as far as launching any live software goes.
Well, in the turnaround that we had, because how we had it, I needed it to go live for season 1.
Yeah, you're talking a piece of software that's got members trying to use it 24/7, like every minute of every day. There was people trying to use it as we were trying to launch it, wasn't there?
I've got another little fact here, by the way, for earlier. We average about 2,800 games a month.
Well, that leads me to something I wanted to ask you, and maybe, Gaz, you can address this. Where would you like to see this go? I mean, at some point, do you imagine it might get too big for you guys to manage, or do you think the more the merrier?
We have talked about influx and, you know, the boom, as we called it. Without saying too much, we've discussed what some of the issues will be if it does really build up. The automation is a big factor to get set up and working properly to deal with the influx of members, which we had to do for the ladder, which you should know is now fully automated. As soon as you finish playing your game, that ladder table is updated instantly.
Okay, well, for the listeners here that don't really understand what a ladder is, which is, you know, to my knowledge, we don't really have them here in Chicago, but I have heard of them. Why don't you tell everybody kind of what a ladder match and what the ladder is all about?
Yeah, it's a basic ranking system. To put it simply, we have the leagues that run for people who want to commit to, say, 1 game a week. And that's sort of the only sort of commitment area we have. Other than that, obviously people that join don't want to commit to a certain time every week. They just want to play at their leisure. So we have the Equalizer and the Ladder and friendly games that run, you know, and there's no commitment involved in them. You can play 1 a month, or you can play 30, 40, 50 a month. You know, you can play to your heart's content without any commitment whatsoever in those areas.
Okay.
And they are ranked to some degree. They're not 100% accurate, but they are.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of these guys
they're
are
ranked roughly.
close to 300 games.
Yeah, it caters for people who don't want to commit to anything, but do want to play as and when they want to play.
Okay, and then how often do you reset the ladder, or is that just constantly?
It's going to be constant. It used to be a yearly competition, but the problem was, obviously, you know, you get yourself to a position where you're climbing. Now, the way you look at it is, you join the site. The object is to climb. You know, chase down the leaders. Now, it doesn't matter when you join, because obviously, it's all based on how many you play. So the more you play, the higher you climb. Well, sorry, that's wrong. The more you play and win, the higher you climb.
Right. Winning still counts. I like that.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, if a guy wins 11 games and shoots an 80 average over those 11 games, and a guy wins 11 games and shoots a 40 average, the guy with the 80 average will be above him.
Okay. Oh,
Ding.
okay.
Wow, that was quick.
That was a
Oh,
request.
yeah, turn the volume down.
Yeah, I think that that ding was requested earlier.
Yeah, it was.
I had a ding request from my chat room.
A ding
Okay,
request from your
Just
chat
to
room.
ding, or was there like a question involved?
No, they just like the ding.
They like the ding. People like dings. Hey, it's all right. The ladder thing is interesting. You know, I was thinking about it, and we'll have more from Gaz, Andy, and Dave later in the show. We're gonna have to
Gaz
take a break.
survived
And
his fall, by the way.
that was so funny.
Oh
I
my
was
goodness! I hope he's
dying.
all right.
Well, plus, you know, we had a camera on him, so the camera all of a sudden was just kind of pointing into outer space,
Yeah.
and you just heard this clatter, and what's the matter? Well, no, but the thing about the ladder that is to my mind brilliant is if you know, like, let's say you go on there to play, and you're playing a couple of games, and all of a sudden you got to go or something. Like if you're playing a normal match with somebody, that messes everything up. But you can go in the ladder and just, you know, keep stats of all the games you play and just play whoever you play. And it doesn't really matter who you
Right.
play, right? But then it'll keep track of your stats for you without you really doing anything different than you normally are. So,
Sure.
you know, in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, if you just get on there and play a couple of games a day,
But
in
then,
a few months
but the
you'll
ladder is
have-
only going to be interesting to, you know, a select amount of people, because some people are only going to go in there and maybe play 10 games a month, and they're never going to climb the ladder because they're not.
Well, they won't climb the ladder, but they'll get statistics and
Mhm.
stuff. So why not do it? I mean, it seems to me that if I went on there and I was just looking for a game, I'd make it a ladder game, right?
Okay.
Just so
yeah.
you get, you know, you
Right.
get credit for whatever it is, you know. And you know, obviously, you know, if somebody's on there like already's played 1,000 games, and it's, I think he said 20% was games played. Well, okay, you're not going to
Yeah,
catch
you're
the
not
guy.
going to catch him.
But who cares? There's no money in it anyway. You're
Right.
not playing the ladder to win the ladder.
No, but you can see how much you progress.
Yeah, it's a nice thermometer
Mhm.
kind of a thing. If you're going to see yourself move up and stuff like that, I think you get a kick out of it. There's some sort of gratification, or you know, positive feedback on something
Right.
like that. But the attitude these guys have about darts, I find, they strike a perfect balance, because you know we're constantly talking about, and you get these like ADO knuckleheads who are like, oh well, what about the recreational player? And well, you know, you're just talking about pros, and you know
Yeah.
all this kind of garbage, because what the attitude they have is, you want to play,
Right.
you know, and we'll keep track of it for you, and you know, enjoy yourselves.
And you can play a top
Yeah.
level player. You can play
They're
somebody
there.
that averages
Yeah.
the same amount as you, or so forth and so on. Play somebody better if you want. Play your
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. So those people that are recreational players but want to get better could play the better people.
And, you know, in the second half, they're going to talk about, you know, like the kind of handicap tournaments they have in the handicap league, which is, they have kind of an interesting way of doing it that strikes me as being a decent compromise, you know, where you've got people that are just, you know, want to have some fun and want to play,
Right.
right? But, you know, they're
And try
also
and get
taking
better.
it serious enough
Mhm.
where, you know, they're going to try to win. And then you've got guys that, you know, are maybe on cruise control a little bit because, you know, they're so good, you know, and then, you know, they get bagged, and it's like, oh, well, I better not let that happen
Yeah,
again.
exactly. Right.
So, you know, the competitive, I like listening to Dave. You know, he's going to talk about like getting bagged at one of these tournaments and stuff, and I don't know. I like listening to him talk. I mean, he's an accomplished player, you know, and I like listening to them talk about their goals. Right, even recreational players have to have a goal.
Right.
I would think. Right, I want to win tonight's match. I
Well,
want to beat that guy that beat me
I think
last
that's the
time.
difference.
I want our team to win the division. You know, whatever.
As opposed to people
You
that
know.
just go out and play league darts don't really have goals. People that actually go onto this website to play darts, actually, whether it is just to improve, instead of averaging 40, they want to start averaging 50, whether they win games or not. But I think anybody that's out there playing on this has a goal, whereas a lot of people that, you know, we met in leagues were just like, I'm just out to, their goal is to have a few drinks and
Right, and have a good
mingle.
time. Well, and that's fine. I mean, recreational players should be able to recreate. I just think that it's very difficult when you're talking about darters. It seems to me that we don't really have a language to describe all the different kinds of players there are and all the different reasons that people play darts. So I've always said recreational darters and then competitive, right? And you really can't be both. So maybe the good distinction is if you have goals and your goals involve, winning and improvement and all that, then you're a competitive player.
Sure.
And if your goal is I want to have fun, then you're a recreational player. And there's nothing wrong with
Sounds simple
everyone
enough.
having fun, right? People enjoy competing, right? So it's not like competitive players aren't going to have fun, but your goal, if you're going to go to a tournament and your goal is to have, a massively good time and you're going to basically tailgate all weekend and get some darts in, that's great. If that's what you want to do, I mean, I have no problem with it. I would encourage it. I just think that, when you start talking about some of these larger issues that we address, where, well, what about the recreational player and all that? I mean, you look at all these tournaments and look at the lack of local support. The idea somehow that these leagues have is like, well, we're not doing anything for, like, the recreational player or the league player is like, yeah, you're right, you're not. And we've addressed how to fix that.
Sure.
But I saw a very disturbing post from somebody where, the idea somehow that we're a show for pro darters. And
I
I'm
don't
like,
see how that's possible.
how is that? Where did you get that idea?
Right.
And these misconceptions that are out there. I mean, I don't know how to fix them. Globally, right? Wave a magic round.
I don't think you're gonna. Does it matter?
I was just disturbed by seeing that. So I don't know. Let's take a break. We're overdue.
Hey,
we'll be back.
my chat room has a chime in on that.
Let's chime.
Okay.
Chime away.
Here, let me ding
Yeah,
first.
don't forget the
forgot to do
ding.
the ding. Smurfy says he's seen recreational players become excellent dart players at WDA with just a few months, and add a couple of seconds of that.
Okay.
So,
Well, to be honest, the way they have it set up, it's so much easier to improve.
Yeah.
And to not, it's not that it's easier to improve, but I mean, it's the only steel competition where you're actually getting stats. Like the people that play electronic darts, they get stats after every leg. Oh, I averaged a 5.4 marks around, or I averaged
Whatever.
I don't get the whole big bullseye average thing. I don't know. Doesn't everybody average about the same? I mean, there's a big difference in steel between averaging 90 and 95.
Yeah.
But I don't know in soft tip if you average 125.8 or 128.9.
If there's a big difference.
What's the big difference?
Yeah.
You took a bigger out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you must need like a much bigger sample for that to be meaningful. So we'll get back to the webcam darts guy. Let's take a break. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, Chatroom Girl. We'll be right back.
You should play on the right.
Okay, back for the second quarter. Brought to
So
you
to
by the
speak.
Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor.
I was gonna say
Also,
you should have played 24.
many thanks to Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. What is 24? How am I going to play 20? I don't see a 24.
What?
Where's 24?
Next to 23.
Ooh, somebody wants your
Oh,
opinion.
24.
But anyway.
Did you just, like, hit something?
Such a thing.
These boys and
okay,
their
I
tools.
don't understand what's going on.
All right,
this
go back
show's
to-
degenerated.
go back to your
into-
statement.
Started third quarter and we didn't even
That was
finish
the
second
second
one yet.
quarter.
Second half. or
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know. Oh, you want me to play this?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Robin Curry. I'm from Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, and you're listening to Dart Talk.
We haven't been playing those
No,
lately.
not really.
The little, because we replaced them with music.
With your bumpers that you love so much.
Well,
Which
I
like them
do. And
too.
and now we got Jeff Donson, who's
Right.
actually doing bumpers for the show. I mean,
No,
we're
they're nice.
progressing. If Jeff Donson comes to the Music City Classic in a couple of weeks and does not bring 2 guitars so that he and I can jam a little bit,
You're going to be upset.
I'm going to be upset. Because he posts pictures. He's got all these fantastic guitars. And I can't bring my Gibson down there. I mean, it's like there's no room in the car, right?
Right.
But he'll work it out. It'll be fun.
He'll
And
figure it
you know what? If we do, we'll tape some bumpers in Nashville for the show
There you go.
with Jeff because he's a fabulous musician. So he's in a band and everything. He's like, you know, he was my doubles partner. I played doubles with him in Kentucky last time I was down there. So he's a good guy.
I like the bumpers.
You like the bumpers?
I do like them.
Yeah.
Great job, Jeff.
Yeah, he's doing great. And it was funny. He sent me one. Oh, hey, I just was messing around, and here's another one. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. So, and it's like, the problem is like when you're doing like I was gonna do a Take Me Out to the Ball Game one, right? Which meant I had to like actually teach myself the song. So I'm like, how's this going? So I do it in Key of C and like all this stuff. And then I'm like, does somebody have a copyright where we can't do Take Me Out to the Ball Game because it's not in the public domain? So I got to research that stuff. But anyway, thanks to
Ooh,
Jeff for the bumpers.
Speaking of baseball, I was supposed to ask you a question. How are the White Sox doing?
They're awful.
Okay, my
You're
bad.
supposed
Back
to do
darts.
it before the show. I mean,
they're
it's
awful.
a dart show. Oh, they're
Oh.
horrible.
My brain, I forgot. Then you said take me out the ball
I
game.
can't take any responsibility
triggered.
for what's under your hair.
I'll put it to you this
can't.
way. They're not improving.
No, they're bad.
Are you cheering for the Cubs? I'm sorry. Go on.
No,
back to
if I
darts.
was a
Go back
Cub
to
fan, I
darts.
would have
I'm
shot
sorry.
myself in the head by now.
I don't even know what to say to that. What are we talking about? Aren't we? This is
going
a
to- are
dart
you going-
show.
Hey,
I
Welcome
mean,
to
are
Dart
you going
Talk
to
here for the
Stanford?
second quarter,
No.
and then all of a
No.
sudden we haven't done anything for the second
a lot
quarter.
of people are asking me if I'm going to Stanford, and
Which I thought you said last week you were not.
No, I'm not going to go, and I'm not going. Okay, if the rumors are somehow I'm starting a one-man boycott of tournaments that are run by LB Darts and the ADO, it's not true.
Mhm.
I'm just not going because I don't think it's
not
I don't
worth
think
your
it's
while.
worth it to go to certain tournaments based on how expensive they are versus what they're paying out. If I knew in advance that the Las Vegas Classic was going to pay out less than 50% of their entry fees, I wouldn't have gone. The way it worked is I qualified for the Nationals, so I got flown out there anyway, but I would never have tried to qualify if I knew that it was going to be a ripoff. Well, it's the same people running this one, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. It's like everybody can have a good time in Stanford, and
Yeah,
I've
it's
been
not
there,
like
and
it's in your backyard.
Well,
if it was
you know-
in your backyard, you might go.
I might. I mean, the thing about Stanford is, it's a first-class field. They did lengthen the format of the 01 singles. So in that sense, it's a good tournament. Sunday, they butcher every year. They try to do a triples and then a singles and a doubles, and that's the one where everybody's forfeiting to me.
Yeah.
Right? Because they have to go
They're all
catch a
gonna
plane.
leave,
And it's
right.
like, how can you run a tournament where nobody can complete the event? I mean, it's just silly. And it's not just the first time it's happened. It happens every year
right.
at this tournament. I'm like, this is silly. I mean, it's like, who wants to get Darren Young got forfeited into the finals a couple of years ago from like top 16 at a final. Everybody he was supposed to play forfeited.
All had to bail.
And it's like, okay, well, what is this?
Right.
You know what? I mean, just do without it. But I'll be in Nashville. We're going to do I'll do the Music City Classic. And actually, for the people that want to play like for real darts, the North American Championship Tour is going to be in Chicago in a couple of weeks. And registration deadline, I think, is in about 10 days or something like that. So you guys better go to bullseyenews.com and sign up and play, with the best players in North America. That's my idea of a tournament. Long format 01. There's a singles on Saturday and a singles on Sunday. So you get 2 singles. It's going to be awesome. And for the women, what they're going to do is they're going to up the prize money if they get enough advance entries. So you women that listen to the show, here, let me show some cleavage. No. Need to go to bullseyenews.com. And
people just turned off their monitors.
One would hope.
Just call me over.
Well, no. I mean, I'm sympathetic to the women and the plight of the women because, they're not playing for as much prize money as the men are, but they don't show up in the numbers that the men do. Mm-hmm. So until the women start showing up, I mean, their complaints are going to fall on deaf ears. I mean, I'm perfectly willing to help. I said that, they should, instead of giving ADO sanctioning fees to the ADO, they should take that money and put it in the women's purse and not just in first and second place. I mean, let it go down to top 8, top 16, whatever. Figure something out where more women can make their expenses or at least come close to defraying the cost of going to a tournament. Right. I guarantee you that if you did this, if you stopped giving the ADO sanctioning money and gave it to the women, you'd have more women coming to tournaments. And that would grow the sport more than what I see the ADO doing, right? So the thing that really irked me, and I'm not going to go on an ADO bash, but...
Ooh, thank goodness.
Well, no, but the idea somehow that, I'm watching this thing on women's soccer where what these women did, the women on the team, who are like young women, they're like in their early 20s, middle 20s at the latest. They're running out to all these little youth soccer things and signing autographs and like showing girls how to hit headers. And they promoted their sport. And here's how it works. It's the top players that promote the sport to everyone else. Right? This notion somehow that you can have tournaments without pros is ludicrous. It's not going to be a tournament. Remember the guy we had on that's like, we have this league, but no pros are allowed. Yep. And I'm like, you're going to play yourself out of your own league. Mm-hmm. Well, all that kind of mealy stuff was like, look, it's the pros that ought to be every tournament. Like there was a tournament I wanted to go to over the weekend. It was in Chattanooga, right? If there were like 2 or 3 pros and they set up a blind draw on Thursday that the pros could go play with the locals, do a little bit of an exhibition, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And then so the locals know, hey, there's a dart tournament in Chattanooga this weekend. You should come out and play.
It's like your golf pro-ams.
If you did that at every single tournament and did it on Thursday, you can always get a couple of the pros to come out a day early, I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, you don't need all of them.
Where's the local media coverage? Where's the local reporter? Like, I got my picture on the cover of some local newspaper in Chicago, 7, 8 years ago, where the guy just wandered in, heard there was a dart tournament, brought his camera. They did it was literally on the front page above the fold, right?
Right.
He had a picture of this woman, Carla Raymond, who was like a decent up-and-coming player who, 3 weeks later moved to Alaska and disappeared. But...
maybe she couldn't have her picture in the paper.
I don't know why he had a picture of me.
Right.
He was curious that I was drinking Gatorade. He's like, why are you drinking Gatorade? I'm like, because I'm thirsty. Like, what do you mean, why am I drinking Gatorade? It's the middle of summer, right? But, I mean, I don't know who got the paper in there, right? But it's too late because it comes out after the tournament. It doesn't do much good until the next year, right? But... who's calling the local radio station saying, hey, look, our tournament, our darters in Chattanooga, we've got some of the best darters in America. They're going to be here. We're going to have this. We're going to have that. You guys should all come out. Nobody that's running these tournaments are trying to get non-players to show up and watch. Have a drink special. $1 beers during the final.
Yeah.
Whatever. Free admission. Come and see. Put some flyers in supermarkets and stuff like that. I'll tell you. Here's the idea. Is like what we should be doing is it's summer, right? Everybody has what I don't know what you call it in other parts of America. We call it day camp. where kids go to like the local park district and they have like organized activities for them.
Yeah.
And it's like for latchkey kids and stuff. I think originally is how it started and stuff like that. Like the Chicago Park District has thousands of kids that are going to these day camps, and I don't know what they do.
Doesn't
I
matter.
mean, I remember
They keep the kids busy.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had races and we had track and field, and we did this and whatever. But imagine if darters would go to these on a rainy day with a portable dartboard and show a bunch of kids how to play darts. How would kids not absolutely want to do that all day long? And that's what the women's soccer people did. They weren't going to the 17-year-olds. They were going to the 12-year-olds. They were going to 10-year-olds. And they're like, here's how you play. And then, okay, here's a 10-year-old, and here's like an adult who's a professional dart player. And you can give them like a little flyer. Hey, here's where you find darts online that you can watch on TV. And if you're interested in seeing American darters on TV, send an email to ESPN, and here's their email address, and start passing these out. If we did it on a coordinated day, let's say August 12th, if every professional darter or one representative from every league went out to day camps and did a demonstration, imagine how many players you could get in one day, right? We should be writing our local senators saying we want the Illinois National Darts Day, right?
Okay.
We should be writing congressmen. We want an American, a National Darts Day, and let's make it, whatever day. Who cares what day
Whatever
it
day's
is?
open.
What? I mean, you have National,
Donut
Knitting
Day.
You
Yeah.
have National Donut Day. Why isn't there a National Dart Day? And here's my biggest beef with the ADO is supposedly, aren't they the ones that are supposed to be doing this? Right? If they're supposedly a national organization where they're joined the WDF, whose main design is to make sure no one else represents American darts but you, and you don't do anything about it, you need to go.
Right.
All right? But these are easy things to do. These are easy things to coordinate. Right? I don't know. Am I the first person to ever have this idea? Because, I've only been playing like 12
might be
years.
the first person to ever
right?
express it to anybody else.
I'm
Somebody
just
else
saying,
might have had the
it's like,
idea.
people want to promote darts. You have to get to kids, right? It's too late to get to the adults. I mean, and it's got to be something, you got to pull it out of the bar, right? The beauty of webcam darts is you can actually, and I don't know if I said it in the first part of the interview or the second part of the interview, it's the perfect way for teens to play darts because they can get in games. They could do it from their home. They don't have to go running around to a bar, borrowing their parents' car, whatever, and improve. So, I think in the second interview, they're going to ask us what we think about it. So whatever. Let's get to the second part of the interview.
You want to take a break first?
Yeah, why don't we do that? We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do the second half of the webcam darts interview.
Right.
Okay. You listen to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, Chat Room Girl. We got a lot more. Mark's got his picks for the PDC match play, and we'll get to those at the end of the show. So we'll be right back. Okay, back for the second half, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. Before I misspeak,
The views and opinions expressed by guests on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect the thoughts or opinions of the hosts, our sponsors, any official Dart sanctioning organization, and Post Hoc Ergo Propter Hoc, any and all spelunkers, debunkers, raconteurs, roustabouts, technocrats, hepcats, cat ladies, Lady Gaga, the Four Seasons, the Three Stooges, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, hipsters, kibitzers, hellions, the fickle finger of fate, or Tom Waits.
okay, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a new disclaimer next week. And we actually had a guy volunteer. I didn't get back to him. There's a guy in New Zealand wants to record it for us.
I think there's
And I'm like, yeah, totally, I'll do
I
that.
think there's a wager which is coming first, the new disclaimer or the website up.
Oh,
Low blow.
wow. That was like,
I'm not saying I made the wager.
that
I'm
was
just saying
ripping me on like
I hear
3
rumblings.
different
I
levels.
hear rumblings
Low
about
Oh my
blow.
gosh,
it.
that's
I don't make this stuff up.
Mark, I
Ugh.
like it.
wow.
I like
That's-
it, Mark.
That hurt.
That was
That,
good.
that hurt. Anyway, so somebody in the chat room is saying something about darts are dangerous or something, or
Well, people would be opposed to you bringing darts to kids.
well, okay, they're going to be supervised, and I'm
Right.
not saying give it to 5-year-olds that can poke themselves in the eye,
Mm-hmm.
but you got 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds. They're swinging baseball bats, right? They got hockey sticks. So you're telling me that throwing darts somehow? Oh, there's. Believe
I'm not
believe
saying
me.
I agree with it. I'm just
yeah,
saying there's going to be people that are opposed to it. You know.
there are people opposed to everything,
Well,
so I don't care about them. I'm telling. Look, let's all get on.
Races.
Let's get
Come
all.
on.
Yeah, let's all get on the same page here. There's always going to be people that say you can't do something, and what I am arguing is that yes, you can. You can do this, but you have to do it. Right? Don't
Right.
let people talk you out of it. Oh, well, they're not going to like this. You know what? Try it. I
Yeah,
guarantee
see
you.
what
Remember
happens.
we were talking about, like on National Dart Day, you could go to classrooms, do a dart demonstration, and get these kids doing the arithmetic, like to third graders, stuff like that. I mean, get darts out of the bar in front of people because we all know it's a fun game to play. There's very few things that you could do at home that's more fun than a game of darts. You sit there, play PlayStation. I mean, at some point, it's just boring. It's just
Right.
repetition. I mean, how many gangstas can you kill in Grand Theft Auto before it gets old? Right? How many times can you milk your cows in Farmville before you're like, you know what? I don't really feel like milking my cows today.
At least 2 years.
I'm just saying. All right, look, let's get to the second half of the interview with Gaz Ainsworth, Andrew Hare, and Dave Hopkins of Webcam Darts. Let me find it here. Where's part 2? Here's part 2. Okay, so here they are. What's the equalizer? Is that some sort of a handicap league?
That's yours, Andy.
Yeah, this is it stemmed from going back a few years to the DPL days. Myself and Dave used to run the ladder, and we toyed around with one or two ideas with that. And long story short, we sort of hit a brick wall with it and kept it as it is, like an equal competition. And behind closed doors, I sort of came up with this equalizer concept, and basically it gives a player a ranking. We have a ranking of 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 at the moment. So if you're, say, shooting an 80, 90 average, you'd be an 11. If you were shooting a 40 to 50 average, you might be a 3, 5. So going into a game, if you say a 5, and you're going into a game versus a 9, each leg you win would be worth the difference between the two values. So the difference between 5 and 9 is 4 points. So each leg would be worth 4 points. So, if the 9 was to win 5-0, the 9 would get 5 points and the 5 would get 0 points. But if the 5 managed to get a leg, it would get 4 points. If it managed to get 2 legs, it would get 8 points, and so on and so forth.
We do it. You guys play snooker there, I know. We play pool or billiards in America, and they do a thing where in that situation, if the 9 were to play the 5, the 9 would have to win 9 legs before the 5 won 5.
Similar sort of concept.
It's a it's a way of handicapping where you can match people of disparate abilities and still somehow come up with a fairly fair game.
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, we have, we have a lot of members, but at any sort of given time, you might log on to the lobby and there may only be a handful of people who are up for a game. And, you don't mind playing people who are below your average, you don't mind people who are way above your average. Sometimes it's nice to play somebody and just try and take a leg.
Yeah, it's just hard to find those people.
Yeah, and the equalizer is, there's no money at stake, there's no anything apart from a few bragging rights, and it runs monthly. And it's just a way of sort of subconsciously in your mind being able to play somebody who's maybe 30 points above you. And if you get a 5-1 or a 5-2, you can sort of justify in your mind and say, hey, I sort of got 12 points out of that where he only got sort of 5. Do you know what I mean? I did really well to get 3 legs there, or I've done all right. I got 1 leg. And
Andy, what about the tournament the other weekend? I got to the final against a guy that, on paper, I'd probably beat 9 times out of 10. But he only needed 3 legs in the final. He played out of his skin, got his 3 legs, won the final, absolutely, buzzed out of it. And it made all the difference because in a normal game I might have been a bit more relaxed, but the added pressure of knowing I can't.
Edit button.
Because in the previous round I did the exact same thing to Waster. He was 3-2 up. Sorry, he was 3-0 up. I got 2 more, and then I was quite G'd up and thought, I can have this here.
You needed 3, didn't you?
I had an absolutely storming leg. And I think I hit like a 14 dart leg, beat him in that leg to make it 3-all, and then he was quite stunned because we paused and he went, "Is that it then?" I went, "Well, yeah." I said, "I don't mind continuing. We'll finish the game anyway." And he was like, "Well, no, that's the game." And it felt weird to win a game but not win a game, if it makes sense. And then to go and have it done to me in the final was a bit of a killer.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it didn't make sense in that tourney situation. And I'm not sure whether I'll run another tournament like that, but
it was nice to see a different winner, though.
In an equaliser game, you always finish the game.
Okay.
But in the tournament situation, it kind of panned out where, if you had an 11 playing a 5, the 5 only needed 1 leg, and in one instance, the 5 got the first leg, so the game was essentially over after the first leg.
Right.
So it's they ended the game, and it's just a bit of fun.
Anybody's good enough to win a leg of darts.
Well,
so it didn't lend itself that well to tournaments, but
I thought it was good because we had a winner that on a usual tournament night would probably not win it. You get your Andy T's, your Smurfies, your Guillotines, who generally win most, 90% of the tournaments. And it was nice to see a guy that he was a sub 60 average guy, I think. And it was really tasty because when we set up the game, he was like, "Oh, this will be quick with you," and I was like, "You only need 3 legs," and he went, "Really?" And that was it. It was like I said the wrong thing, and he went at me with a chainsaw. Oh God, yeah. He absolutely gave me it right. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had an absolute mare, and I'll take nothing away from the bloke. I actually put more pressure on myself. Couldn't find anything in the game, and he took his chance and gave me a right shoeing.
Well, it's nice. It sounds like all of you guys are pretty experienced dart players. Andy and Dave, you guys are both playing Super League, and Gaz, you're not quite there yet.
I play Super League. I don't know if Andy.
No, I play just local league once a week.
Yeah, I'm the same. I kept in my local league team, and
I'm knocking local league on the head now to play more WDA because I'm just bored of playing in the pubs now. It's just not for me. I'd rather play at home, get more games, more competition, and I'll just stick to playing Super League on a Saturday so I can make county.
So, how did you guys find it? I know you've both tried it and dabbled with it slightly. And what are your thoughts on whether or not it's actually a decent practice tool, or will you just use it recreationally, or?
Well, now that I know that it works, I think I can find a place for it along with the other things I do to prepare for tournaments. As a tournament player, I don't really even play League anymore. I'm just sort of like, I'm getting ready for one tournament, and the minute that's over, I'm looking at the next tournament, figuring out how best to prepare for that.
Because you guys have a lot. You have a lot of tournaments, don't you, over there? You seem to have one every week. From what?
They're awfully far apart.
Yeah.
And the real one of the real challenges that we have in America compared to the UK is that we're so spread out as a country geographically that it's very expensive to travel to all these tournaments, and the prize money isn't really enough to justify a whole lot of travel. So, like, I've played the circuit where, you know, I've been to, like, maybe 15, 18 tournaments a year, played really well, and, you know, broke even or, you know, made a couple of $1,000s and felt like I was very successful because, you know, it's $800 a weekend to, you know, with the hotel and the travel and the airfare and the entry fees and, you know, dinner. And I don't eat that much.
I would say to answer your question from my point of view is, and I used to play a decent amount of darts, but I kind of gave up on it. This website, if I get interested in throwing darts again, would be the perfect venue for me to start and get back involved in the game and try and get back to at least the level that I was remotely at before, which obviously isn't your level, but you know, I'm not necessarily going to travel and stuff like that, but it would be it seems to be a good tool for a player like me that wants to get back into it. It's
got to be enjoyment first, though, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, I love playing online. I mean, if I lose, yeah, I'm disappointed. But, I mean, when I used to lose at my local league, Christ, I'd want to smash things up because I'd be like, what? Because, you know, I mean, I finished runner-up this year in the top league, and it pissed me off because the guy that beat me was the guy that beat me both times. And
what, Dave? It upset you, did you say?
Yeah. Apologies there. So yeah, but you see, as much as I mean, when I played Andy in our league game, you know, just because of our personal, we've had a personal rivalry since we started playing, really, haven't we, mate? And we always want to try and get one over each other. And you know, it's I take it seriously to the point of, yes, I want to win, but you know, my ultimate goal is just to stay in the Prem so I can just keep playing the top players every season. Because I know where I'm at, I know where I want to be, and I know where I can be. It's just a case of finding that consistency. But if I don't enjoy it, I won't play it. Now, win or lose, as long as I'm enjoying it, it doesn't matter to me. Because if you win, great. If I lose, great, because I've won the same thing for winning as I have for losing.
Well,
squat. But I've played technically with, you know, there's a few people on this site that are classed as friends. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, Andy and Eamon, you know, they travelled down from their respective places and we spent a whole weekend together. You know, Gaz was potentially coming. A few setbacks, so we said.
As always.
But you know, it's all about, you know, it's like a social networking site, if anything, you know, like a mini social networking site. But you'd
be surprised how many members have actually met each other just because of webcam darts.
Right, that's one of the things I took out of it. It's a social networking. Where
if you speak to Yarbles,
you get to have conversations with everybody, and you know, you don't have to talk if you don't want to, or you can, you know, get to know somebody.
Well, the New Zealand crew of Yarbles, the Fly, Wendell's, Dinosaur, who else was there? There was about 6 or 7 of them. They all decided to meet up in someone's garage and watch Yarbles play one of his league games.
Nice. I like that.
He told his opponent, I can't remember, who was he playing? He told his opponent was more nervous for Yarbles. Was more nervous than Yarbles was, and Yarbles said when he was playing, he'd have like say 69 left, and his opponent would have quite a lot left. They were telling him to go like triple 13. They were telling him to go really weird ways to finish, just to try and like they were throwing things at him while he was playing. You know, they were just. He said they were just constantly trying to put him off. Every time he had something left, they would like, you know, try to make it not a joke of the game, of course, but they said just to try and make, you know, just make it different.
It's nice to have an audience that can really change the nature of a game.
Yeah, but he put the opponent off who didn't have the audience, effectively. You know, he's like a few thousand miles away from them lot, and he was more put off, and he couldn't hear nothing than the guy that was stood in the room with it.
Yeah. I had one person make a suggestion, and I don't know if you guys have considered this, but some darters aren't that proficient when it comes to computers and stuff, and he was wondering if you guys could make a YouTube video that shows people, with screenshots and everything, actually how to set everything up. Have you guys thought about that?
I believe Tim is actually doing something along those lines, not necessarily in a video format, but I believe, I'm sure he said to me he was doing it for somebody for a certain reason, that he was setting up a phase of screenshots starting from your very first stop to your very last, that just runs you through everything.
I mean, it's pretty simple, I thought.
Yeah.
But it sometimes for some people, that visual aid is
A little more helpful.
a little more helpful.
You almost,
you could do it. I think anybody could.
It's not
but-
like you're trying to fix an appliance or something where you need a YouTube video for it. I mean, it's really pretty self-explanatory. Click here. Click
Yeah,
there.
well, this is one of the reasons why webcamdarts.com boomed since changing from dartproleague.com, because of the pure hassle. And I strongly believe that Dart Pro League lost hundreds of members due to how difficult it was to get started.
I'm sure of it.
And so, yeah, I think the webcam darts part of the boom is not the pure simplicity, but a lot more accessible and easier to start up than Dart Pro League ever was.
I appreciate you guys coming on the show, and I would definitely like to check back with you, down the road and see how things are progressing for you. Because quite honestly, one of the issues that we've had here in the States is that on the steel tip side, there's been no growth at all, and in fact, we've seen declining participation over the years. Way less people going to tournaments now than used to go, 10, 15, 20 years ago when, I wasn't even around. I just kind of hear stories.
They're all playing WDI, mate.
But it seems to me that something like this, with the way people are all connected these days, would make it a lot easier for people to get into the game, especially younger people who can't get into bars and pubs and stuff like that, where they could get quality competition online 24/7. I mean, I can't see how down the road, if we get the word out that that's not gonna help more people get into the sport of darts, which I'd certainly like to see.
Is it mostly word of mouth for the website, or how do you guys go about and get the word
There's
out?
that. There's Facebook. There's various numbers.
To be honest, promotion of webcam darts has not been it's not been big at all. Majority has been word of mouth. Facebook's been very useful, but there's been no paid adverts. We've not pushed it. We've just let it grow naturally. So yeah, word of mouth has been a huge factor. The social networking has helped quite a bit, but
It's like the commercial. He tells two friends, and he tells two friends, and so on.
So on and so on and so on.
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, we just wanted it to grow naturally, and it has. So we're not going to push to, pay for any adverts.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what we do with this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just keep plugging along because, it's something we like to do and we think it's worthwhile. And I can think of at least 3 people that agree. Jill's
Maybe,
mother,
yeah.
and
Right.
and me is 3.
Oh, you got 3 more in this hangout now.
All right, awesome.
We've doubled.
Well, Gaz Ainsworth, Dave Hopkins, and Andy Turnbull, we appreciate you coming on the show, and we'll definitely check back with you down the road. And we'll probably both be seeing you, in the Webcam Darts
in the lobby.
chat room in the lobby at some point, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, fellas, and you guys all take care, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Good luck, guys.
All right, take it easy.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, cheers.
Okay, that was Gaz Ainsworth, Andrew Hare, and Dave Hopkins from Webcam Darts, and we couldn't get Tim's the IT brains behind it, so he's
He
done
was
a great
unavailable
job
at the time.
So it's probably past his bedtime.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got like a real job. I don't know. But those guys, I like listening to Dave talk about his match and stuff. The handicap thing, the handicap tournament thing, I kind of agree with him. I mean, if you're playing somebody and you lose one leg and the match is over, it's
Right.
kind of like, what just happened? But doing it the way I was telling them about the pool leagues, where like if you're a 9 or if I'm a 9 and you're a 5, I have to win 9 before you win 5.
Yeah.
That's at least you're going to play a real match. You're going to play a
Instead of the
minimum
point
9
system
legs,
of
or
you
I
win
think
one and you get the 5 points.
yeah. So they'll probably be tweaking their equalizer tournaments, if that's what they're calling them, because I like the whole idea that you could just have a 1-day tournament, and see how you do. No big thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, even though Dave got beat, he likes the whole idea about it too, and just from what he was saying.
Well, yeah.
The guy gets to have a chance, and next thing you know, he actually wins a leg and wins and
because
he gets
you're
to say he won a tournament.
Well, yeah, but because you're not, there's no money involved or
Right.
anything like that, so there's no really reason for anybody to, cheat or anything
Right.
like that, and it strikes me as being so purely sporting,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would think it'd be fun. I mean, I wish I could, maybe get in one of those. I don't think time-wise it's going to work for me, but maybe they'll do one like on a Sunday night at 7, like Chicago time, and I'd probably do that. I'd probably do that. I haven't had a chance to go on and play, but I kind of decided I'll go on and just play ladder matches when I have
I
time.
thought they said they ran tournaments on Fridays and Sundays.
Is it Fridays and Sundays? See,
believe so.
Fridays are bad for me, but
Right.
but
But you might be able to do a Sunday.
well, yeah. I mean, it kind of depends what time. I'm not going to get up at 10 in the morning and do it.
No.
But the notion of people playing in their jammies and
Would you
stuff,
be awake
I
by
find
2?
that depends. Depends what I did Saturday night. All right, let's take one. We're already running over, so we'll just take a real quick break, and we'll be back for the fourth quarter. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, Chat Room Girl. We'll be right back. I know how much you like the harmonics. Okay, fourth quarter. You're listening to Dart Talk, brought to you by thedartzone.com.
Stay in the zone.
Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, thanks to our hosts, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know what to say about some of this stuff, but I like it. I like the whole notion of it. I'm looking in the chat room, and they're talking about how Jerry Umberger, went to math classes. Stacy Bromberg has, used darts in math class. And, to be honest, I wish there was some way we could coordinate like a Wednesday where everybody goes to their local school. And you get 50, 60 people doing it in 50, 60 different schools.
Right.
You're talking about a couple thousand kids.
We were discussing about the fact that people are worried that you're, putting steel tip darts into kids' hands, but like I said,
adult supervision.
Well, yeah, it's supervised.
Yeah.
And it's not like a box of crayons where they're just handing everybody in line gets to hold them. You don't put the darts in the kids' hands till they're up at the line to throw.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're all
No,
be
you
just
could
lugging
totally
around-
you could totally do this, and you know how many kids are going to run home saying, "Mommy, Daddy, I want a dartboard."
Mhm.
I mean, I don't understand why dartboard manufacturers aren't behind this.
Yeah.
Right? Because who's going? You know, they're going to benefit. They're going to sell dartboards and they're going to sell darts.
Right.
So, I said last year what we should do. The PDC is coming to Chicago. What were the dates? Did we say
the 19th.
19th,
And
20th, and
20th,
21st
right.
of July? So that's 2 weekends away. This weekend, the PDC tour or the North American Championship tour is in Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
So good luck to everybody going to Canada for that. But I said last year what we should do is there's a Dick's Sporting Goods down the road from the venue where they're having the North American Championship
Oh, okay.
event in Chicago. I'm like, why don't we get 4 or 5 pros and set up a standard in the middle of the store and give a demonstration?
Right.
I mean, what is stopping people from actually promoting the sport except like a lack of time and inclination?
Yeah.
Right?
Somebody putting it together.
I mean, it would have been great to do something on a Friday night, but then they got a Friday night draw, and it's like, okay, you know, let's figure something out. I mean, I think the tournament organizers would be very helpful in something like this because they need to promote their own tournaments anyway,
Mhm.
right? Give an exhibition, give everybody a ticket for a free beer if they come and watch the final, which would mean that you'd actually have to stage the final and not call all these other matches during it and all that other stuff.
Right.
But I'm just saying, you know, if you make it, they'll come. If you make an event worthy of watching, people will watch.
Yes, I agree.
That's all I'm saying. And you're talking about people off the street coming to see a dart tournament. They're not going to know that, wow, you know, it was an 18 darter that wasn't very good, or it was a 20 darter that's not a good level of darts. They're not going to know.
No.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. We have to revisit this. Anyway, who else? People going to Japan.
Yeah.
People going to Korea. Who's
Korea.
going to Korea for the Darts Live
Going to
Stage
Korea.
4?
Scott Kirshner, Benny Dersch, Ray Carver, Big Dog, and Joe Custer.
Okay, well, good luck to those
Wishing us
guys,
luck.
and
Luck to them.
hopefully they're not flying Asiana.
Well,
Although it's probably safe to do
Yeah,
it now,
yeah.
right? They'll have all their prime pilots on now.
Exactly.
All right, no training. They're probably no more training
yeah, we won't do that again.
on the 777s. Also, I believe Gordon the Great and DJ Sayre are going to play, and Chuck Pankow, I think, are going to Japan for the Japan Open.
Oh, all right.
So I don't know why they're going to Japan for the Japan Open, but I hear they're going, and so we wish them well,
Good,
right?
Good luck to them.
Hopefully, safe travels to everybody going to those things. What do you got going? Anything? Have
No.
you been in the webcam darts since we did the interview?
No, I still only played
You're
my
killing
one
me.
match.
Okay.
But-
We're going to have to work on you. We're going to whatever works on you will work on everyone. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to be like the guinea pig of what's it going to take to get you to play darts, man? You know? I don't know.
We'll
you used to
figure
play
that
all
out.
the time. You're a
I
good
used
player.
to play all the time.
How about you, chat room girl? What are you up to? You going to draws? What are you doing? You're back from vacation.
Oh, I miss vacation. Vacation was awesome. Draws. Let's
If you
see
were
here.
on vacation all the
yeah,
time,
I'm
it wouldn't
actually
be
going
vacation
to some draws. You
anymore.
want me to tell you what draws I'm going to?
No, I'm just wondering if
All right,
you're
then,
playing.
fine.
What tournaments you're going to?
Tournament-wise, darts for kids.
Are you going to do interviews at the? Tell me about the Darts for Kids. Yeah, let's plug that.
Yeah, darts for kids. It's August 1st weekend. It's the same weekend as the North American Darts Live in Madison.
Well, that's inconvenient.
Well, it's inconvenient, but you know it happens.
All right, so what's the
Just-
deal with Darts for Kids?
Darts for kids. Bob Hetzik and Tammy put it on every year. This is their second one,
Is
actually.
this in St. Louis or something?
No,
or?
it's in Bloomington, Illinois, or Peoria. That's it, Peoria, Illinois.
It's in
I don't know.
Peoria.
You hit me on the spot. I was focused on other stuff right now. Anyways, I got that. Got a big draw coming up at Dart Brokers, their first one. So that's going to be same weekend as the PDC, though.
I'm just like when it comes to all the scheduling and stuff. I really wish we had some sort of players organization to iron some of this stuff out
Well,
because
some-
I
yeah.
see it's going to get worse.
Oh, it's.
I see it's going to get worse. Like already there's a Darts Live event in Washington State the same weekend as the Chicago PDC. Now, it's good that players have choices, but I mean, I'd play them both if they weren't on the same weekend.
Yeah.
So I understand that, sometimes there's no way around the scheduling. But
All right.
it seems to me that if we had a players organization and you couldn't schedule a tournament before the players signed off on it, then at least there'd be some sort of positive control
Mm-hmm.
as far as like dealing with some of these issues. some of these conflicts, some of these scheduling conflicts, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So
okay,
I don't
since
know.
you
We
have
have
me
to
on the
work
spot,
something like
now
that.
I have my page up here. Saturday, August 3rd is Darts for Kids. It is in Litchfield, Illinois, and it is
Never heard of it.
Well, it's down.
close to
It's
it.
down
It's-
that
it's-
way.
it's-
in between
it's
Peoria
It's
and
down that
Bloomington.
way.
It's probably
It's-
south of
it's,
Wisconsin.
It's to help a couple
Probably-
families who
probably
have
is.
kids that are sick. And last year,
Oh,
they,
okay. So it's a,
last year we almost raised $10,000.
and this is
for kids.
for ill children. Oh, well, that's nice. I thought it
Yeah.
was
And actually, the kids were there.
okay.
Haley, I forget, she was probably not even 2 yet. She had a heart transplant. Heart
Oh my
surgery, yeah.
gosh, wow.
Yeah, so we got almost $10,000 last year. So
Well, that's nice. Okay.
yeah, it's really nice. It's a
Well,
great tournament.
Okay, so you can
a lot
post
of
a
people
link.
donate to it.
Okay, you could post a link to that on our Facebook page.
Sure they can.
You guys can always post messages on our Facebook page. Just look for Dart Talk. You could find us on iTunes, TuneIn.com, Stitcher.com. You could search YouTube for Dart Talk US, and our video archive is up there. Our website is darttalk.us, and we should have something on that relatively soon. I should have time this weekend, I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to go to the chat room girl? Are you going to go to the North American Championship
You've
Tour event in
interrupted her.
Chicago and interview some of the players?
Probably not.
That's mandatory
Well, I'm sorry, but I have previous engagement.
for an entire weekend.
Well, yes.
There you have it.
That's totally unacceptable, and I don't actually believe her.
Actually, I can't say it on the air because.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
yeah.
fine.
But it is dart related. And
Okay.
I kind of said it on Saturday.
Okay, it's a 3-day tournament.
Okay.
So you're saying you're booked all 3 days? See, that's what I don't
Pretty much
believe.
is-
See, I don't
Yes
believe it. So
and
that means you
yes.
have to do it again this year. And you did a good
Hey,
job
you know
last
what?
year.
I'm a
Booked.
busy girl.
You
If
better not be booked.
Hey, I'm a busy
Oh,
girl.
I
You
don't wanna
wanna-
hear it.
You want to get me booked, buddy? You better do it soon.
I don't
I'm
understand
already
why
booked through
everybody isn't
September.
putting like 30 hours a week into this show.
When it pays my bills.
Oh my, that'll never happen.
Okay. Then.
That will
So are
never
you going to do the interviews in Chicago again?
We'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Well then,
I'm not making any promises at this moment.
you're going to have to keep them if you do, because I'm anticipating playing.
I know.
So I'm not going to have time to do it.
Right.
So, and if
Are you
if-
anticipating playing well?
what I'm no, I'm not actually. But
Oh, then you'll have plenty
you
of
need
time.
to sit down with
East
John
Coast
Part.
isn't going. He's
Yeah,
gonna be
that'll
home
happen.
reading the
He was-
180 rule.
He was so up for that the last time.
What was that about the 180 rule? What?
Yeah, East Coast is not going to Korea, but he will be home reading the 180 rule. That's
Oh
all.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, he could like put the waiver up on his refrigerator. If he gets bored, he can read that over and over.
Yeah.
I got some
put it up in
emails.
his dark
Well,
book.
I got some emails from some of the Canadians who were just shaking their heads like, "This is just ridiculous." All the players are fed up.
Mm-hmm.
So if all the players are fed up, why is this still happening? Again, you know, we need some sort of players organization that can start telling the supposed powers that be that, you know what, we don't need you. Which is exactly how the PDC started. The PDC started because they got fed up with these people. And they're like, you know what, we don't need you. And look where they are.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. The North American Championship Tour. Let's support that.
Oh,
That's what I say.
Right.
Sunday
You know.
afternoon tournaments on Webcam Darts, 3 p.m. Atlantic time.
3 p.m. Atlantic time. There's no such thing as Atlantic. There's
Yeah.
Eastern.
Right.
I think that's what he means.
All
So
right.
that's
Could have
at
meant
2
Pacific.
Central. 2 Central on
Yeah.
a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to do that.
You might be able
I
to.
might be able to do that.
Depends on what you did Saturday night.
Go up there and thump Jeff Smith. Is he still in the chat room? I hope he didn't hear that.
Jeff says, "Oh, I have a ding from Jeff.
Oh, you got a ding from Jeff? What's Jeff got to say?
Take me out to the ball game. Ending bumper. Just emailed to Dart Talk Gmail address.
Oh, okay.
Woohoo!
All right. Well, you know, I have one. I just haven't recorded it. But yeah, okay, we'll do one. We'll do one. And if Major League Baseball sues us, then
Yeah.
good
see
luck
what they
getting that.
can
Good
get,
luck
yeah.
getting a dime out of
What are
us.
they going to get from us?
All right. Anyway, thanks to everybody in the chat room listening around the world, downloading the podcast. We will Dart Talk to you next Wednesday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Atlantic,
Yes.
5:30 Pacific, and
Yeah.
1:30 in the morning Greenwich Mean Time. What is it, 6 hours?
6 hours, yeah.
Yeah, so 1:30 in the morning in England for you guys coming back from League Night. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll hang around after we stop recording for a little while if you guys want to chat. So everybody take care.
Thank you, chat room.